Hi, I'm Jameson. I'm a long-distance professional triathlete. At the moment, I'm training for Lanzarote Ironman, which is in 5 weeks, and I've probably been training as a professional for 3 years. Currently training for Lanzarote Ironman. That's the focus of the first half of my year. And then I get married, and then after I'll focus for about another 3 months on the end of my season. But at the moment, Lanzarote Ironman is the focus. I try and break down my season, so I have C races, B races and A races, and I'd say there are 2 A races in the season, and then the B races are almost training races. So I might do 13 races in the year, something like that. I tend to try and get abroad over the winter months just to avoid some of the bad weather. Long training camps in the mountains. And I mean, the UK is good for toughening you up in the weather, but being in the sun is definitely good preparation. In a triathlon, you're swimming, you're cycling, and then you're running. In my distance Ironman, you swim 3.8 kilometers. And it's usually open water, so the sea or a lake. You cycle 180 kilometers. I tend to go for the tougher courses because I like the hills. And then you run a marathon. So the marathon's kind of where the damage is done. And that's my strength, the marathon. So yeah, so that's basically what I'm training for. I've just come back from a race in Mallorca, and as you go down or through the race, the swimming's I was 16th quickest in the race. My biking I was 9th quickest, and then my run I was 2nd quickest. So throughout each race I'm kind of building it up through the disciplines. I've been in sport all my life, since when I was 5 playing rugby, and then I went into rowing. I rowed for 5 years, fairly competitively, and I'd say that's where I get my background for more kind of endurance-based sport. But generally, I mean, I was brought up in Switzerland, and I love being outdoors. Being confined to an office is hard work for me, whereas being outside in the mountains training, that's what I really enjoy. I would say there's a 12-week block leading into a big race. I think to keep a high intensity for any longer, you tend to burn out energy-wise. Training-wise, I'd probably peak at about 35 hours a week. And a lot of that would be working on the biking because of the proportions in the race. So I often say 35 hours a week is the training, but the recovery is the 4th discipline. So if you're not recovering well, then your training's not going anywhere. You've got the simple recovery methods of eating a lot of protein straight after a session. You've got the more kind of intricate recovery, like sleep. When you sleep, your growth hormone is starting to work, and that's what's repairing your muscles. And it's really important to get not just enough sleep, but good quality sleep. There are certain things that reduce my sleep pattern and reduce my quality of sleep, and the biggest one for me is heat. If you're training in a warm climate, or if you've just finished a session quite late in the day, your body temperature is hot. So Mammoth mattresses have kind of shown me that if you can cool your body down through technology, then your quality of sleep is that much better. Obviously, there are other things that Mammoth have that are beneficial, like the postural support, the fibers. Those all go towards helping your recovery. Downtime, I would say, I'm trying not to give athletes a bad name here, but I drink a lot of coffee, relaxing with friends, drinking coffee. I'll spend a lot of time preparing for the season, so structuring the season. I do a bit of work as well coaching athletes, so that helps with the income. We've got 10 athletes working for Yelling Performance, Martin Yelling's company. and generally trying to invest in my career, so getting enough money to keep funding the sport. Finishing a race is always the point where you can sigh with relief. The days leading up to an event are fairly stressful because you've done all the work and you've just got to finish it off. So when you cross the line, it's elation, relief, again focusing on recovery. One of the first things for a professional athlete is being able to sustain back-to-back races. So it sounds boring, but the first thing you're doing is thinking, how can I recover? So